Amy Klobuchar thoroughly embarrassed herself this week. She was unable to name the president of Mexico during an interview. This is really cringeworthy, but it's worth every second.
What do you know about the Mexican president?
Okay, well, what I will tell you is that I will visit Mexico in the first 100 years. 100 days.
100 days.
I will visit there.
Are running for president.
Yes.
You would like to be the
Yes.
Democratic candidate.
Yes.
What do you know about the Mexican president now?
Well, I know that he is elected in the last few years. I don't know him personally. I've met with the ambassador, and I was actually supportive of the trade agreement. So I worked with the embassy on that. They came to meet with me.
And I ask because it's so important, especially
Yes.
Nevada, California, Arizona, Texas. This
Yes.
is our neighbor to the south.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about him? Specifically his politics, what he's doing, since this would be the country you would share a border with. Anything you can tell me about him?
I know that they are neighbors, and regardless of who the leader is, that it is someone that I will work with.
Do you? I'm sorry to ask this, but do you know who he is? Do you know his name?
Yeah. I know that he is the Mexican president.
But can you tell me his name?
No. So.
Don't you think it would be important if you're running for president to know who the president of Mexico, the country to the south of the United States, is?
Yes.
Because it affects so many Americans. Mexican Americans are the largest Hispanic, the largest number of Hispanics in the U.S. are Mexican Americans.
Of course it is, yes.
Woo, boy, wow. That is something else, isn't it? This reminds me of in 2016, Bernie was doing a radio interview with Hugh Hewitt, I believe it was. And did I say Bernie? Did I say Bernie? I meant Trump. Trump was doing a radio interview with Hugh Hewitt. And he didn't know who Hamas is, and he didn't know who Hezbollah is. And, and he didn't know who the Kurds are. So it was a really, clarifying moment of so whatever your perception of Trump is, that's correct. Like this kind of vapid, know-nothing billionaire who's coasting off of ego. That was verified that week. Because he didn't know basic things that you might not know it, but that's okay because you're not running for president. If you're running for president, you have to have a certain knowledge base. So for Amy Klobuchar here, this is just beyond embarrassing. I mean, if you were asked to name the president of Kazakhstan, I got it. You're not going to get that. I'm not going to get that. I don't know that. If you're asked to name, I don't know, the leader in the Congo, I get it. You might not know that. I might not know that. I don't, actually. But when you talk about Mexico, first of all, that's our neighbor. Second of all, we have a lot of business dealings with them. Third of all, he just got elected. Of course, the answer here is AMLO. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. And she doesn't know that? It was a very, very big story very, very recently. And if you follow political news even a little bit, you knew about that. And again, even if you don't, I think most of my audience knows, but even for the few in my audience who don't know who the president of Mexico is, you're not running for president. If you're running for president, you should know who the president is of a country that frickin' borders us and is a very important partner in many respects. And what is there to know about AMLO? By the way, he is actually the example that we on the left should bring up whenever they try to compare Bernie Sanders to Fidel Castro, or Maduro or any other leftist leaders like that. Our immediate response should be, no, he's a lot more like AMLO. Why? Why should we say that? Because AMLO is actually, in many respects, populist left. There is a hint, especially with characters like Maduro, there's also some authoritarianism in his ideology and his philosophy. There's not a hint of that in Bernie's, and that there's really not much of that in AMLO either. So, and he was wildly successful. He won the election. So we should probably bring up AMLO about how the left can win, and he's a good example of that. So to not know that, in all seriousness, is kind of disqualifying, because it just proves that you, Amy Klobuchar, are a vapid narcissist who's only in this race because of ego, because you want to have the title of president. And that's not okay. That's not okay. Also, by the way, Tom Steyer, he apparently didn't get this question either. He failed as well. I'm not surprised by that. And listen, credit where credit is due, Mayor Pete knew. Now, this is a super low bar, but the reason we're talking about it is because Klobuchar and Steyer didn't know. So credit to Mayor Pete. He knows that AMLO is the president of Mexico. And I don't think they asked Bernie, but he definitely knows, especially because he's kind of like an ideological ally in many respects. So, man, Klobuchar, really? Really? You're supposed to be like, the person who's really pragmatic and competent, and to not know the president of a country that frickin' borders us, who was just elected, and it was giant news, who we have deals going on with, that's beyond sad. She goes on to brag, by the way, that she supports the new NAFTA. Okay, first of all, it's not something to brag about. The new NAFTA is a lot like the old NAFTA, and it was terrible for working people, okay? It's a giant giveaway to Big Pharma also. But, so you supported the deal, you don't even know the president of the country that we did the deal with. That scares me. Because then what are the chances you can name any of the provisions in NAFTA, even one or two? As somebody who voted on it, you should know a lot more, but you probably can't name even one or two provisions in there. So, Amy, please, exit stage, I would say left, but you're not left. Exit stage right.